Hey everybody, happy Thursday. Welcome to day 8 of our daily creative challenge. Can't believe it's almost over. I feel this way every time I do a challenge. It goes by so quickly, but I'm super proud of all of the work that you've all been doing. If you are new here, hi, I'm Kathleen. The Daily Creative Challenge is meant to help you build your skills in Photoshop over the course of 9 simple but super effective challenges. And if you are in the chat, make sure you say hello to me. We've got Amy, Chad, as always. What's up, Chad? Chad in the chat. Sam Peterson, how you doing? Cindy, D, hello. Good to see you all. And Susan, I saw you there earlier. Frank, hello. Multiple waves for everybody. What's up, Steve? How's your morning going? Oleg, Jan Eric, good to see you. Okay, so let me pop over to my screen real quick so we can get a little preview of what we are going to be working on today. How's that sound? So yesterday we built or prepped our mock-ups, and today we're gonna apply our graphics to it. Now I saw on Discord when you all uploaded your works in progress, thanks for doing that by the way, that you might have already done this, which is super cool. So I'm not only going to show you how to just apply your graphics, but I also kind of want to show you how to build the mock-up from the ground up. So it can be something that you could maybe give to other people to apply their own graphics, or even maybe sell it. There's an idea. Yeah, of course, Dee. Good to see y'all. Ted, hello. Okay. So before we actually jump into the workflow, I will just remind you all that you can register for the challenge, and this is where you'll come even after this challenge is over for future challenges. If you didn't know, this might be news, but there's a challenge going on every single week. Just has a different host every 2 weeks with a different set of skills, a very specific set of skills. So on Monday, next Monday, there will be just a new challenge starting, and that goes for Photoshop, Illustrator, and XD. We got a lot of learning to do, and it's always happening. Very exciting. Okay, so if you want to scroll down here, you can see what the challenge is every single day and even download the starter files that I've provided. Today, I just re-provided the mock-ups from yesterday, but the cleaned up version. So if you didn't want to make your own cleaned up mock-up, you can just download it by clicking here. All right, and then do not forget about Discord. That is where we post our works in progress to get feedback. If you want to join us on Discord, it's super duper easy. Just go to bit.ly/psdiscord. Ignore that dark bar right there. And you can download the app. It's totally free. You can even do it in your browser or on your phone. And you can become a part of this very special community. Let's see how many members we have. Wow, there's 1,800 people online right now. That is pretty amazing. We've got mentors always hanging out in here. Sam Peterson's been doing an amazing job, as always, giving feedback this round, and Valder is always there to provide his sage wisdom as well. You can see some Adobe folks up here. Chad's always happy to help. You can always message me for questions if you have them. And then you can always come over here to the announcements tab. Click Creative Challenge, and this is where you can get your daily challenge info as well. Thank you, Gus, for posting that. Lots of good people in the chat today. What's up, Mia? All my friends. I seriously do feel like I'm just hanging out with my friends for 30 minutes every morning. So it's not a bad way to start the day, especially when everyone's hanging out at home these days. Okay, so like I said, if you come to the feedback channel, you can go to current challenge and post your work in progress to get feedback before you post it to Behance on your final project. Thanks, mentors. Yeah, seriously, they deserve a big thanks. It is a big job. And if you ever post work and you don't get any feedback from anyone, you can always tag a mentor. Just do @mentor and it'll send a notification to all of the people marked as mentors, and hopefully someone will get back to you soon. You like the groove we've got going with the music? Oh, is it too loud? Oh shoot, sorry. I didn't realize it was so loud. Could you even hear me talking? Sorry. Okay, that should be better. Probably a new song just started playing, or a bass drop happened. Goodness gracious. This is MTV or Adobe Live. Okay, so let's jump into It's just a teeny bit loud, but I'm feeling it. It's usually really quiet, so maybe that was a nice little change. Colleen says I liked it. Okay, let me know if it's turned down now. So let's jump back into Photoshop, and I'll just show you how to quickly apply our graphic and then also how to build this. It was fairly loud, but not awful. Not awful, but bad. Okay, so let's just get rid of this and I will show you how to bring your artwork in. You can go to File, Place Embedded. You're just about to call the cops. It is too early for that loud of music. My neighbors would have done it. They do it all the time. Lots of loud music coming at all hours of the day. All right, let's go to day 1. Do day 1 Behance. That is just my full spread for my cover. And this is gonna bring in my front cover and my back cover, so we're gonna have to work on masking this so only the front cover shows. So I'm gonna roughly get this the right size. I might turn on my opacity a little bit so I can see. Move it over here a bit. And that looks pretty good. I'll hit enter to commit my changes. What's the difference between place embedded and place linked? That's a great question. When you place it embedded, you're actually putting the image file within your Photoshop document. So it will make your Photoshop document a little bit bigger, but if you place it, bless you, but if you place it linked, it's linked to a specific location on your computer. So if you move your files on your computer, you might break the link, and when you open the file, it might not be there, or when you open your PSD. So I just like to do embedded just to make sure that even if I move my files around, nothing will get broken. These files aren't very big, at least the ones I provided for you. Yes, that was a Gus sneeze for sure. Okay, so how do we apply this just to our cover? Well, we could play with the blend mode, and that does an okay job in some of them, like this one, but we can do better. So let's make a mask out of our book. I am going to go to my selection tools. We've been doing this a lot these past couple days. Let's do object selection, draw a marquee around our cover, and see how well it does. That was the wrong one. There we go. Make sure you have the correct layer selected. It just tried to select my cover design. All right, let's zoom in a little bit, see how it did. It did all right. Let's just see if we can do this by hand without having to go into the the select and mask workspace. So I'm going to add this to the selection. Pretty good. And I'm subtracting from my selection. Let me zoom in a little bit by holding Option. You'll see that it changes my cursor to a minus. So you can subtract, and the quick selection does an okay job. And I can come back in here with my lasso tool and make that final little selection. And maybe do it here as well. Okay, looks pretty good. So I'm gonna turn my graphic layer back on. I still have my selection, and I'm just gonna click Layer Mask. There we go. Now we are only showing where the book is and nowhere else. And this is when we can start playing with the different blend modes. So if this is just on normal at 100%, you don't get any of that good texture in the background, and it definitely looks like it's just copy and pasted on there. So let's come over here to our layers panel and play with some blend modes. Gotta love that live preview. Multiply is usually what I would go for if I wanted to just do something quick and simple on a light background, because that's going to allow the dark pixels to stay and the lighter pixels to become transparent. But you can play with different ones. I actually ended up liking linear burn for this one, but I will give you an example of most of them. And like I said, you really just want to play with these blend modes so that you can keep that nice paper texture of the actual cover and make your mock-up look a little bit more realistic. All right, one thing I do like to do as well is just to turn the opacity down just a touch. to make it look like it's actually printed on that paper. That looks pretty good. Cool. So remember how I selected the hand in the book, or I just selected the book to change the book cover? Well, I also only selected the background to change the background color. I'll let you guys work on that if you are interested in doing so. Is it easier to make selections if you crank up the contrast and then reset it after you're finished selecting? I guess that would make it easier, although you might get some like aliasing, like jagged selections. But you could try it. I feel like the select and mask workspace does a pretty good job of helping with selections if you really want to get nitty gritty with it. All right, and the way that I made this fill color, or this background color change, is I just made a solid color layer, picked a color, and then made that layer mask. Then of course changed the blend mode to show that concrete background. This could be cool if you wanted to make more of like a pop art-y mock-up. Like that. I've seen a lot of mock-ups on Behance where it's like a hand holding a book and then the background is like a very bright color. It doesn't really look real, but it is a real hand holding a real book. So yeah, that's something to play with if you're interested. Okay, so let's move on to applying our entire spread to a different mock-up. I've got my day 4 spread here, so day 4 and day 2. And I'm gonna work on grabbing these graphics. I'm just gonna hold the Option key. That brings up my duplicate option or duplicate cursor. I'm gonna click and drag. I'm just gonna drag it into this file. Click OK. Resize it so it fits well. And that looks pretty good. Let's go grab our other graphic. I'm going to duplicate this and merge it just so we have one graphic to grab. Come on down here. Still laughing in my head about the fact that I had the music playing so loud. And this one didn't have a white background behind it, it was just the graphics. So we can see a little bit better how it's going to be placed. Awesome, that looks pretty good. Okay, so let's come back to our first graphic and play with the blend modes just to see how it will look when it is applied. We got the linear burn, that worked well for the cover. Multiply might be good too. Multiply is a little bit lighter and linear burn keeps those shadows a little bit deeper. But both of them knock out that white background, which is great. So let's go to linear burn. Turn down the opacity just a little bit. And we can just change this, maybe to multiply or linear burn. Looking good. And there we go, we have our spreads on our mock-up. We can turn down the opacity a little bit. And since this paper isn't completely white, it's kind of like a little bit of an off-white, I might even come in here. You don't think you have to hold down Option key when dragging into a new document for it to be duplicated? Oh, that's great. That's a great tip, thank you. I was always scared of losing my original document or my original layer. My screen's flickering a little bit. That's exciting. It's having a fun party. Got too hyped from the loud music. All right, I'm going to choose a light color and I'm going to quickly fill that with my foreground color. Whoops, with my background color by doing Command Delete. Why did that deselect? Who knows? Select it again. And this isn't super realistic because if this was printed on paper, we wouldn't really see white on top of it. There we go. But this is all for the mock-up's sake. There we go. Now we can read it a little bit better, and I could do it over here as well. There's a ghost in the computer, I know. Something funky is going on. Cool. And notice how even here it goes over the threads a little bit, and we could come in here. What layer are we working with? And liquefy this just a little bit, or warp it to make it a little more realistic. I always forget where liquefy is. So let's make this a little bit smaller. I'm gonna liquefy it upwards. Click OK. There we go. Now it looks like it's coming over the paper a little bit more realistically. Sig says, success, after 4 hours, Photoshop is working again. Oh no, Sig, I feel like you're always having technical issues. Photoshop is not being your friend these days. And then we could finesse it a little bit more even by masking the graphic over here to make our edge a little bit harder. Yeah, if that flickering is bothering anyone for real, let me know. Hopefully it's not too bad. And there we go. So we have a pretty easy, simple mock-up that we made from scratch with our own images. Now, let me show you how to make something a little bit more complex. So if you go to File, New in Photoshop, up here at the top in this ribbon, you have different options for kind of templates. So if we go to print, you can scroll down and see that there are a bunch of free templates that you can use. So I've already downloaded this magazine mockup, and I have it open. And this is where we can start applying our own layers, and they will be pre-warped for us, and I will show you quickly how to do that. All right, so if we go to this layer right here, it says your design here, and we can turn it on and off and see what layer it's talking about. We have to double click into this smart object, and then we can apply our images. So let me go back here, grab this, place it, and when I commit my changes and save this, when we go back to our mockup, it'll be there and it's already transformed and already warped for us. So super quickly, the way that you do this is, well, one way to do it, one way I like to do it, is I like to make a shape layer. So I'll go to the rectangle tool over here, make sure that shape is selected here, and I'm going to make a rectangle. Okay, it has no fill, let's just add a blue fill. And it clipped to that for some reason, so we will unclip it. Cool. And we are going to right click on this, convert to smart object. And now anything we do to this, aka warp it or transform it, when we jump into that smart object and edit it, it will also be warped and transformed. So let's go to edit, transform, warp. And I could grab these edges. This was probably not the best way to do it, but that's okay. I probably would have skewed it first and then warped it so I didn't have to worry about these handles. Oh well. Put it in place, move the handles so that it covers your image as well as possible. We'll say that's good for now. Hit enter to commit your changes. And then let's jump into the smart object. Bring our image in here. Turn off the blue, save it, and there you go. It's doubled up because I still have this on there, but it is pre-warped just because we edited our smart object to be warped after we created it. And there you go. So you can build out full kind of complex workflows and mockups like this, provide them to other people to use, and maybe even sell them. Put them in your toolkit. Just distort should do it. Yeah, that could work too. Christina says, I don't think I can get those templates. I hit download, but nothing happened. It took a couple minutes for me to download it. Make sure that you are logged in with your Creative Cloud subscription linked Adobe ID. Keith says, I don't get the best results with the warp tool when I bring images into the smart layer. You could try distort, and then after you distort it, you might want to warp it so that it has those curved edges. Hopefully that helps. But this is great for creating super custom mock-ups. Make it bespoke, make it just for you, and that will make all the difference when you're making presentations to clients or making your own Behance portfolios and projects. You forgot to save your project as a PSD. Oh no, how did you save it? Darn. Thanks, Mia. Cool, so I'm excited to see all of your mock-ups on here. I'm also excited to see if you take your own photos or find images off the web and apply your mock-ups to that. I'd love to see your own hands setting up some lay flats. That would be cool. Nice. So I've got a couple more minutes on here, but before I jump into anything else, let's just chat about the schedule for the rest of the day. So it is the same as yesterday. We're gonna have Claudie and Julia coming up right after me for some photo compositing. Julia is really good at building her own mock-ups. So if you have any further questions about mock-ups after my stream is done, feel free to ask her. I'm sure Claudie's great at it too. I just haven't seen them. And then Claudie's gonna stick around for the Daily Creative Challenge for Illustrator. So if you wanna learn some Illustrator goodness, stick around for that. I think they were making like textured illustrations, like a mezzotint kind of texture the other day, and that looked awesome. At noon, Ben's gonna be back for more logo design, so some good old-fashioned graphic design, branding. And then at 2, Howard is gonna be here for the XD Daily Creative Challenge if you ever wanted to learn about screen design or UI UX design. He's the master. Definitely come back for that. Kyle will be here at 2:30 for the draw along, also a master at illustration. And then Val and Delta Tango Mike will be back for the design off. It was a lot of fun yesterday. Yeah, Claudie is going back to back. What a champ. Truly an Adobe Live champion. Awesome. And then like I mentioned earlier, we only have 2 more days. So let me go back to my computer. And let's chat about tomorrow's challenge. So yesterday we prepped our mock-up for today that we could apply our mock-up. I wonder what tomorrow's gonna be. It has to do with our mock-up again, but what is it? What's the final day gonna be? What's the tying it up with the bow gonna look like for the end of our challenge? Yeah, no problem, Jay and Dee and Colleen. Like I said, I'll be back tomorrow at 9 o'clock for the last day of our Daily Creative Challenge. It's sad, but I'm confident that you all have learned a lot. And real quick before I go, chat, let me know if you have learned one thing that maybe surprised you or something that got easier this time that maybe had been difficult in the past. I've been very impressed by what I've been seeing in Discord. Very cool. I know the start of this challenge, I was kind of like, what am I doing? Where am I going? It's hard to come up with this big idea of an entire zine and then follow the same idea for 2 weeks. So thanks for sticking with me and thanks for trying it out. I know it's been kind of an adventure. No problem, Viola. I will be back soon. Make sure you stick around for Julia and Claudie, and we will see you in a moment. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.